Hello, it's just Nicola here today going live. And yes, it says we're live. So here we go. Lovely to be here again on Friday as we head towards the weekend and weekend trading. I've got a really exciting live stream for you today. We're going to look at Recktember to Rocktober or not, right? Are we going to see another dump? So I want to do a big overview, niche down into the hourly to see if we've got any trades potentially, and also go over Bitcoin technical analysis, Ethereum technical analysis, and I want to show you this awesome chart where we could see a November of 451% increase. And what price would that mean Bitcoin is at in November? So at the moment, I am looking at Bitcoin on the monthly, and I'll come back to that in just a moment. I just want to remind everybody, yesterday, our early bird special tickets expired for the conscious crypto traders, but we're so busy with a whole lot of other tasks that our assistant hasn't changed the price on the on the website. So you've got one more day. We're going to give you one more day. We'll change the pricing tomorrow. Otherwise, if you want to come to this 3-day event with masterclass speakers like MMCrypto, Da Vinci J 15 and more, so that you can spend 3 days immersed in workshopping your positioning for the super cycle, workshopping what are the best coins for you to have, when to buy, sell, some advanced technical analysis, as well as going back to the beginning and doing the very first baby step technical analysis so that you can accumulate Bitcoin in a safer arena over here to hedge your bets against the margin trading that you might be doing. We're going to be doing mindset, meditation, scenario trading. You're going to get so much value out of these 3 days, and networking with other people, learning all sorts about the airdrops that are coming, free coins that you can get, you name it. We're going to jam pack this with value. And in my world, anything I do, actually, I always invest a lot of time and money in constantly educating myself. I never get to the point where I'm so arrogant that I don't feel that I need to learn more from people who are either ahead of me or beside me, moving forward in their in whatever their field of expertise is. So that's the consciouscryptoevent.com/2012, last day to get cheap tickets. Otherwise, the next couple of weeks, it's in October, so it's in a few weeks. The next couple of weeks, you're going to pay more. You're going to pay the full price. You don't want to do that. You want to get the best deal, right? So let's start with do technical analysis on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's start with where we closed out on the monthly candle, because that leads into Recktember to Rocktober really beautifully. So here with Bitcoin on the monthly, remember we've got these red lines coming down from the tops that we've had that we have not broken above yet, representing resistance, and we've got this clear support line coming up where we've not gone below. And if we look at that, we can say that's a bull pennant, and if and when we break up above the Fibonacci level of 50,849, we are most likely going to go up to at least 93,571. That could be in October, it could be November or December. We'll see when we have a look at the chart. But the monthly candle close here, closed at about 43,800 and something, which was really close to where I had put it on this monthly revenue chart. Here, I introduced this on Wednesday. So if you're new to this chart, what I've done, by the way, if you're coming to the Conscious Crypto event, you're going to get this for free, so you can follow along and change the macros as you need to. But this is the revenue shift over the period of all of the bull and bear cycles since 2011. And the first thing I want you to note is in this corner here, we have on the bull cycles, we've got 8 months of green candles and 4 months of red candles. Now here I've got blue as green, but I just changed these from green to blue to highlight really big jumps in percentage rates. I mean, these are huge, 63%, 171, 451% in November. I mean, that's gigantic. So I'm going to be talking about mindset and setting your expectations for Rocktober and then on to November because of that in just a moment. But what we want to draw our attention to is 2021. We've only had 5 months of green revenue returns. We've had our 4th month in the red. I had said that this would close out at approximately 9% based on the metrics that I was looking at, and we actually closed out at 7.34, so it was a little bit under. And I said somewhere around 44,000 was probably where we were going to close out for the price of Bitcoin, and we came just under that, obviously, because I was basing it on 9%, and we came under that. So that's what we're looking at here. So one other thing that I really want to draw your attention to is this, 451, and this is a segue into mindset. If you have the mindset of, oh, that's impossible, it's never going to happen, you may miss out on getting in on the biggest part of a parabolic run within this bull cycle. Whereas if you have a mindset where you think it's going to go down, and we're not going to go lower, we're going to go lower rather, you just could miss out on the biggest amount of crypto that you could make in this cycle. And conversely, if you think it's going to go up 451% and you're expecting it and you're planning it and you're pouring all your assets into it, and then it doesn't, then there might be a little bit of imbalance in your portfolio. So the mindset, or the answer is the middle way, which is what Buddha said, right? You've got to be in the middle, in neutrality emotionally, so that if it goes up and it just keeps going, you're ready. And if it goes down emotionally, you're also ready. So take a neutral stand in that respect. So looking at this chart, I take an emotional neutral stand, but by doing statistics and doing laws of averages and looking at the charts, we can speculate. And this is not prediction. This is actually speculation. So if you see down here, I've got the monthly candle close. We can use the speculation to go, well, where are we? And let's start looking at planning this for our portfolios. So we looked at, what I did is I averaged out all of the revenues, and we came up with an average, like the average of all of the, the ups and downs for each month is in this section here, right? I also did the minimum. What was the minimum that we've done in that month? And the minimum was, well, we did a losing month in September, and the maximum was we did a winning month there as well at 24%. So we've got the minimum revenue change and the maximum, and then the average of all of that. Then I've done the average of only counting and averaging out the bull run years so that we can compare them and see where we're at, okay? So where we're at is at the average speculation approximately. The average speculation was that we would close out at a minus 6.8, which was a little bit more than that. It was 7.34, but it's in the ballpark. And that's how I got the 44.004 here. And if we take that from September, that's kind of approximately, and these are approximates, guys. If we go from there, and now we look at the averages of what's happening in October, the worst case scenario is that we could go down to 28,686 or less, or less. That's a possibility. And I'm going to talk about a black swan event that Tokenmetrics are talking about, which could take us all the way back down to 20,000, even more. So that is a possibility. However, we haven't had our green months. Like if we want to do the same pattern as we've done in every other bull market, we need 3 green months so that 5 becomes 8, and we're continuing this pattern. Now we don't have to continue that pattern, but we have, right? So let's see if that happens. So I kind of think October is going to rock, and the reason for that is, since May, we've had several really important planets in retrograde. And when I was working in the stock market way back in my 20s, we were very big. I was working for a big merchant bank, and I also worked for another financial institution. We were all really big on watching astrology, because W.D. Gantz, who's one of the biggest traders of the stock market in the really early days, said, you're crazy not to do that, because every time something shifted, there would be a fluctuation in the stock market. So we know that the price of Bitcoin can get affected by the stock market. So since May 27th, Saturn retrograde. Saturn rules finance, business, and it limits it just limits things. That's what Saturn does. It's a limiter. So if you can see, up until now, the price going up has been limited, but the price that is going down has also been limited. We've been trading within a range and not breaking below and not breaking above. Now, Saturn comes out of retrograde on the 10th of October. And note that, because when we go to the charts and we have a look at what's going on now, we can see, there's a potential breakout around there coming. Keep these dates in mind as well. Also, Pluto is coming out of retrograde on the 6th of October. So sometime in the next week, it's possible we could start seeing a rally to the upside out of these bigger patterns. And then Jupiter by the 18th of October, which is the planet of expansion. I think by then, we can see like the end of the month would definitely be rocking. And a lot of analysts are seeing that on the charts. And I'm just using that as a scenario that could possibly play out regardless of the astrology, right? Because it's already in the charts. It's an interesting coincidence. So get those dates down, because we predicted the 7th of September crash based on astrology, as Schmidt started them. We also predicted the rockiness between the 11th to the 16th, and we predicted the bull run coming up using those astrology dates. So just note them. And if you're skeptical, just note them. But the mindset is just be prepared for either scenario. So let's speculate here. We could go to 65,000, maybe 71,000 in October based on these here. And in the charts, remember I said, we could be going up to 93,000 this month, right? So based on these averages, those are the ranges that we may be looking at. So what we do is we prepare for the top range, and we also prepare for the bottom range as well, right? Because technical analysis and statistics are the law of probability. They're not predictions, right? And that's really important to note, because people say, you've got this big range, you could be right. And it's like, I'm not interested in being right. I'm giving you statistics, and these are the statistics. So here's the good thing though. In November, if we close out at 65,200, November, we do something ridiculous like 451% increase. That takes up to 369,000 for Bitcoin. Now, if your mind can't comprehend that, I want you to stare at this. I want you to look at this and just say, well, it's possible because that kind of an increase has happened before, right? It's really important, because it's possible that November might be the top of the market. And if you're thinking it's going to happen in December and take time off in November and you miss the top of the market, then you're selling all of your cryptos on the way down and losing some potential profits there, right? So mindset's really important. Just be open. It is possible that could happen. If you have a look at this year, the most we've ever gone up in this bull cycle has been 29.84%. If you look at the other bull cycles, we went up as much as 60%. We went up 49%, 47%. In 2013, 54, 63, 171%. We have not had a huge parabolic run in this cycle. So that leads me to be open to having it in the last 3 green months of October, November, December. So open your mind, open your capacitance, because we could be in for a wild ride. And I've given you those dates. So let's have a look at, one last thing. Look, we knew September was going to be Recktember, because the law of averages show that September, for whatever reason, is a red month, right? So law of averages is really good to pay attention to. And then if we burst out of the law of averages and we do something unique, that's a bonus. So here we are, Bitcoin. Let's go down to the daily.
So we can see where we are. RSI starting to get up there. We've got a W here on the daily, and W's are patterns that tend to play out more strongly than patterns that play out on the hourly. So that puts us at a target of around 53,849, and most importantly, it breaks us out of this Fibonacci level at 50,831, and here's the neckline. Right, so when we break out of this neckline at around 47,354, for those of you who are new to this channel, we look at the breakout, come back down to retest the neckline as support, come back up, enter along right there above the first breakout. However, you're going to need to be aware of running into resistance right away. So that means you need to look at the RSI, make sure it's down the bottom. So we've got room to go, and we want volume. And here's the thing, it's Friday. In a couple of hours, institutional buying in New York and then Chicago starts reducing. And we see volume leave the market, and the retail market takes over. Asia comes in on Friday, and it can be a little bit wobbly, although it's going to be very, very, very interesting to see over the next month what impact the ban on crypto in China has had. Having said that, you have to remember China, the CCP, right, the Chinese Communist Party, is one of the biggest traders of Bitcoin, and they have a lot of Bitcoin. So it's going to be very interesting to see if this dynamic of manipulation when the Asian market comes on changes. We've certainly seen since mining was banned, we've certainly seen a dramatic decrease in those really big sudden drops where all of a sudden, there's some kind of Chinese miner dumping a whole lot of Bitcoin on the exchanges. That's quietened down. So that's going to be very interesting. But the bottom line is the volume isn't there to push and create momentum to go up as much as it is during the week. But we can get freak moments where we get a bull run on a Friday night or a Saturday morning. Sometimes we get that on Sunday afternoon when APAC opens and we start getting volume coming back into the market. So that's that. If we come down into the hourly, we have a bull flag here, then it looks like we have not quite a clear breakout, but almost. We just need to wait and see for a few hour candles. What we want to see is a breakout, retest of the line as support, and then we want to see it break away with volume and momentum. And if we look at the RSI, we are overbought, which means we could see a little bit of a retracement, and it could only just go back to 46,606. So if you're looking for a position here, it's a little bit perilous. I would be putting in tight stop losses, or I'd be dollar cost averaging into the trade with small leverage. And then if it takes off, I would just add margin and add leverage to it. The bull flag, depending on when it breaks out, obviously. So let's say it's breaking out here, is 49,570. Now let's bring in Ichimoku to go, where are we with support and resistance? Very good here. We have the lagging span above the clouds. We have green above the red. We've got the baseline below the conversion line, looking good. We've got nothing but green sky in front of us. So that is a really good positive sign that that we are bullish and we are heading up. There's no indication of bearishness here at the moment, just in these early signals here, but we do need to watch the RSI. At the moment, we've got a high and then we've got a low. And if this hour candle closes up, that will become a bearish divergence because we've got a low going up to a high. So this, I would wait for this hour candle unless it takes off to enter this trade. I'd even wait for another couple of hours and see if you can get around here. And then make sure that if before entering you come down into the 15-minute to see if we've got any red in front of us in case we're getting any kind of big surprises. I would even come down into the 5-minute and see if we got any red. We're going to get some big surprises. Got a little bit of red here. Red is resistance and green is flow. So this could take off. This might even take off on the on the hourly. I would say this is a risky trade just because of the time of the day, but that doesn't mean to say it's not a good trade. So just put in your risk management and wait, yeah, just have a look and see what's going to happen here. But this is looking pretty good. This is looking like we're heading out to confirm that W and confirm that bull flag, in which case we've got big moves coming. So Ethereum monthly candle, this could be a bull flag. Let's just pretend that's, or a bull pennant actually. Let's just go here and here. And you remember this is monthly. So monthly patterns are even more likely to play out. I'm not going to take the wick because if I remember correctly, there was a bit of manipulation going on in there. But anyway, I will just do that. And that's going to take us up to this Fibonacci level of 4377. So if we come down into the daily and see what's going on here, we are in this downward channel, and we also are coming to break out of, see this, I've got a lot of going on here. Let me just take a few lines out here for you. Downward channel, bullish pattern, breaks to the upside more often than the downside. Also see this here with the horizontal line and the ascending line. That's an ascending triangle, breaks to the upside more often than it breaks to the downside. And we have a W formation here as well. So all bullish. Do we have any bearish or bullish divergences going on in there on the daily? No. So let's have a look at what that target would be. If that's the neckline, we're going to use that as the neckline. That's going to take us up to the top of the red resistance of the bigger monthly pattern at, depending on how far it is before we break out. It could be anywhere between 39.46 to 39.80. And because this is a big monthly pattern, I would be watching out for a retracement here. So that would be a good time to look out to see if a short was possible. But we are breaking out of this ascending triangle. We've hit resistance and we've got a couple of resistance lines directly above us. So a safer trade, if you want to play it conservatively, would be to break up above this Fibonacci level at 3482, or come in with small margin, small position, and a tight stop loss on the retracement when it comes back down to retrace and bounces off this horizontal line, comes up above this line here of the descending wedge that we're in, and then add to the trade if we come up, if you just want to get that lower position. If we bring in the Ichimoku, I think if I remember correctly, Ichimoku has flipped. Oh my goodness, that's flipped this morning. That has flipped bullish. Let's have a look at that on the 4 hourly. Still bearish. But that 4 hourly, I don't really take much notice of because it's very, yeah, look at this. See, we're still above red. We're still above the red. We've got all these bullish signs here. If you follow Ichimoku's strategy, you'd be entering along at around the 2nd of October, which would be tomorrow, because we could see further retracement. So I would be waiting and watching and looking for a really good entry point, right? So a good entry point. We've not come back down here to retest that as support, which was the previous bull flag. That's sitting at around 3026, and that is also around about the baseline of the Ichimoku cloud. Whenever you see these straight lines on an Ichimoku cloud, I've often seen unpredictability in the market, which means it suddenly goes up or suddenly goes down. It looks like we're coming back down for the retest on this bull flag. If you take that wick, and no, I wouldn't. Whenever you do your lines, guys, you want to have the most candles touching for it to be valid. If you do something like that and it's a wick and you've got 2 candles touching, you know, I would do it this way. Yeah. So what have we got here? We've got 3, 3, 4, 2, and then we've got the bigger pattern that we're breaking out of at 3959. Then we've got the bigger monthly target of 3979 going up there. I think if we get up here, I think there'll be excitement and we'll hit that and maybe even work above it before we break out of it. And that's that. Where's the 4 EMA? CM Williams fix is not giving us a signal to buy. And we've got the yellow coming up. Let's go down into the 15-minute. I'm going to answer some of your comments in there in a moment. Yeah, look, we're coming up against resistance here, so I would definitely be waiting to get above this resistance. Also, but we're looking good. I mean, we're looking good. Either way, I'm thinking we're going to go up. And when we go up on a Friday, we often come down at the end of Friday or during the opening of the retail market in Asia or the UK. So by the time America wakes up, we've got a little bit of action going on there first thing in the morning. So yeah, careful trading on Ethereum. But, Bitcoin's going to drag everything up if it takes off, especially Ethereum. So I think we're looking good. We're looking good, and certainly we're looking good for Rocktober. We're overdue for a green month in terms of these numbers, and then you can take a screenshot of these guys if you want to, but we're going to be going over this. I'm going to be changing these numbers as the law of averages shift, so we can follow this and see. And the reason why I think this is so important is because if you're planning on taking capital out in December, but we get a big month in November, that might be some time to take some profits out, right? And not wait for December. So we'll see. We will see. We're going to be following it. So let's have a look at your comments. What are the reasons for predicting Black Swan event? Yes, coming to that. What is our current support? Current support for which coin? Where are we going up this Friday? You mean as in today? Yeah, what are you referring to? Sorry, because I didn't see that right at the time. Let's go to this Black Swan event. I watched Tokenmetrics last night, and the guys were talking about the possibility of a Black Swan event, because if we go out onto the monthly on Bitcoin and we bring in, let me take the, if you were talking, the person who was talking about support, there's a number of support lines here, but I'll go back over it again in just a moment. Bitcoin, yeah, okay, cool, yeah. So here, look, this was the all-time high last bull season, which was just under 20,000. So let's call it 20,000, right there. And I'm going to draw a line there for you so we can see it. We haven't come back to retest that. This cycle, we just shot up, came back down, cut to around about 27,000 and something, never came all the way back down. And in fact, when we went into the 20s, we shot right through the 20s up into the 30s. We went and then just kept going up and up on the monthly to the all-time high, which is why we needed that big retracement back down to retest 30,000 at least. And we only ever wicked down into the high 20s. We didn't come back down to retest the all-time high of the last market, which can often happen. This could be the retest, but it's way up there. So a Black Swan event is when massive manipulation or dumping or news that skitters the market happens, and all of a sudden we see those free falls like we did here. See this? And we just fell for a couple of months. We just kept falling, but in this month we fell quite dramatically. And if we go over to the weekly, right, within 1 week, boom, within another week, boom, we just came down quite dramatically. So that's kind of like what happens in the charts when you have a Black Swan event. So I don't know. I have no idea. How could I know? Unless I get a crystal ball out, right? Which I'm into astrology, but I'm not into crystal balls. Okay, so support levels. Oh, what happened to my Fibonacci levels? I'm going to come back. Where are you? Oh, did I delete them? Oh no, here you are. So an ultimate support level in when we do the market Fibonacci levels, which is from this way, the lowest point to the highest point from the beginning of the season, puts us at 39,834. And you'll remember this was a significant resistance. So if we come over into the weekly chart, we were hitting this several times and getting rejected off of this golden ratio. Now we've come back up, we've tested it 3 weeks in a row. 1 week just dipped slightly into it, but have been rejected off of it for 3 weeks in a row. Here, we didn't even come close. So this is now a significant support area. Another support area, obviously, is this trajectory of our support for the actual triangle pattern that we've got, and that's at the moment, depending on when we fall, let's put it in on an average at around 32,395. The further we go, the higher that's going to be as we ascend. So then if we go down into the daily, let me draw in another Fibonacci level if we're going to do any kind of a retracement, because we've been looking at the bullish scenario mostly here. Remember, whenever we break out, we often come down to retest the previous resistance line. So this descending narrowing wedge resistance line, we've broken out of, it's possible we could retrace and we could come back down to 44,494. We could come back down to 42,236. Or we could come back down to the golden ratio, depending on how long it takes us to get there. Ichimoku on the daily is showing a little bit of sideways action. Going into the weekend, that's always a possibility. Coming into the 4 hourly, no, that's not telling us anything significant. Coming into the 1 hourly, obviously this descending line here is the first support level, because we are in a bull flag pattern. And I think I'm going to I'm going to change my lines here now that we've got more data for the price action, and I'm going to do that, which means the target is a little higher, but still around the Fibonacci level at 49,717. So that would be your first support level. It would be the bottom of the flag. Then the second one would be this Fibonacci level of 46175. And if we break that, we could come down here. Now, those of you who know our channel, I love talking about the Bart Simpson. If we travel sideways for too long and we start seeing a slowing down in the trading, in the high that it goes and the low that it goes, if it starts tightening, that's often a sign we're getting ready for a dump, and a sudden one. Not always, but often, in which case this could be a Bart Simpson, and then it would come back down to this golden Fibonacci level of around 44529, maybe overshoot it, touch this line, bounce back off and come back up. So on weekends, whenever we've got bull flags and we've got the volume leaving, we've got to watch out for those Bart Simpsons. So that is that. What else have we got here? How long Black Swan will last? I don't know, but my sense of it is, if it happens, and it's only speculation, it would be like the last dip that we had, where it fell and then it came up, like boom, came right back up into the trading zone. So I don't think we will trade down at those low numbers. It would just be a freak accident. Now, knowing that that's out there in the cosmos, you want to just make sure that you've got good risk management and you're watching your stop losses. And if you're dollar cost averaging down, you've got enough to go all the way down to 20,000, so you don't get liquidated out. Cool. What else have we got? Sorry, I mean to say, are we going up any more this Friday evening here in the UK, and then maybe coming back down on Sunday? Well, I mean, that's the question, isn't it? That's really good. a good question. And so I would be looking at the Ichimoku on the shorter time frame to see what it's throwing out in front of us. And it's a bit choppy. So I would be guessing. So don't trade on guessing. But I would be guessing we're going to trade sideways for a little bit longer because we're up against the Fibonacci level that we're getting rejected off of, which means we could see a little bit more of a retracement. And I would be watching 12 o'clock. You guys are going to be going to bed soon, aren't you, in the UK? 2 o'clock is your 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. So I would be your 6 o'clock, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would be watching really carefully because that's when we start seeing the institutions doing their last minute buys. And I remember when I was working in the stock market, we weren't able to go anywhere near the traders in the trading zone in the last hour because if they hadn't met their quotas or it looked like they could make even more money and surpass their quotas, they had to focus in on doing a last minute flurry. So often just before the New York Stock Exchange closes, you see a flurry of activity and you think, oh yay, volume's happening and it's on, and it's not, it's just a flurry. And if you're lucky enough to catch that, that's awesome. But I would say that it's more likely going to be a flurry down, but not by much. So just watch those time zones. It's 7 a.m. here. Really? 7 a.m. in the UK? Oh, I'm about to run out of power. I better put this in. So other time frames you want to watch for the weekend, we say this a lot on our channel, Saturday morning, as well as on Sunday. Chicago Mercantile Exchange closes at our 2 o'clock, I think, which is in 2 hours. And the Chicago Mercantile is the biggest exchange. And what happens there is it sets the price of Bitcoin. And as we know, on Sunday, when it opens at 2 o'clock, if it opens above or below with the price that we closed on Friday, we get a gap called a CME gap. And often on that day or within a few days, we trade up to the gap or we trade down to close the gap. But I'm going to be doing some videos on that. Probably do a video tomorrow and on Sunday, because I think that if we get a breakout on the weekend, I think there could be some volatility that follows. So we're watching. I mean, look, we're slowly going up. If we come back down, it just looks like we're just going to do the normal 2 to 5% moves to the downside for the correction right now. Ichimoku looking bullish. So I'd be watching to trade this breakout. 47,765, trade it, break it out, come back to retest and go up, and then have a dollar cost average in if we come back down again. Oh, look, there we go. Look at that. Yeah. And then keep drawing your lines, guys. Just keep putting your lines in. Every time we have some movement and go, oh, we could still come back down here. Then if we come back down below, we know that we've got a movement to the downside incoming. I mean, the more you micro, you look at the macro, obviously, to know the general direction, but the more you micro, if you're day trading and you get really on these patterns, then the better your entry positions will be. I would not be shorting right now because we're not seeing any signs, but I would be watching this here on the RSI. Is this going to be a bearish divergence if we just shoot up and go above this, go above the price here on the price action? So that's awesome. Hey guys, thank you so much for your participation. I am really looking forward to seeing what happens, because I like my major is in history, so I'm used to seeing patterns and I look for patterns. I'm always looking for patterns, and we'll see. I mean, we were close here. We got it, like we closed out at 43,859, and I had put it at 44,004. So that's pretty close. But that means I need to change all of these numbers, because these percentage increases were based on closing out here. So I will change all of these for the next time we go live. and we will keep you abreast of this. And for those of you who are coming to the Conscious Crypto event, link is in the description below. It's in October in 3 days with some great masterclasses, some great expert panels, breakout sessions, strategy planning with you backwards and forwards, getting massive stimulation and massive input for preparing for what could be a super cycle. Ticket today, guys. You want to get the cheaper ticket. And you're going to be getting this chart. You're going to be getting some other charts that I've got of comparing altcoins and looking at the percentage increases that are out there in terms of their prediction. So you can make really good decisions on which coins are going to give you potentially the better increase. And then of course we've got Da Vinci J15, Crypto Wendy, Michael Rosmar, and myself in the panel of experts at the event, talking about the whole altcoin section of the event, of what you want to be holding and what we're looking at for selling and all of that kind of thing. Plus, we're going to be doing some looking at what airdrops are out there and what coins that you can get for free. So that being said, I love your love heart. Raw WI. Does that mean you're into raw food? I love raw cacao. I like raw food too, but I also like cooked food. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to try and go live tomorrow. Just depends on what time I get back from the farmers market. Otherwise, it'll be a recorded video, and we're going to, and I will have updated these numbers, and we will have a look at what's going on, because Saturday morning I could wake up to a bull run or a dump, and we'll see what it is. For those of you who want a little bit more of the interaction, Discord is our chat server, and the link for our Discord server is below, and you can go to there and you'll see daily technical analysis for Bitcoin, and you'll see chats of what's coming up, and if I'm in front of the computer at any moment the market moves, I just do a screenshot and tell you my 10 cents worth of what's going on. Mwah. I will see you tomorrow. And oh, by the way, Teresa wanted me to say, we're going to start saying don't get scammed at the end of all of our videos now, because we got scammed. We got involved in a trading company that ended up being the head of it disappeared with everybody's Bitcoin. So we got scammed out of that. And the reason why we started this channel is we didn't want that to happen to anybody else. And we learned, we did due diligence, and the due diligence, we learned some really important things, that you can actually fake due diligence out there on the internet, like fake news, right? So we're going to do a video 100% on what we learned from that, so that you don't get scammed, and we'll be doing that really soon. So watch out for scammers. We know that there's a lot of scammers posting WhatsApp numbers, posting deals, posting names of people who've made them lots of money. Just out them, guys. Let's out them, rat them out, just name and shame them, and say, hey, you know what? You're a scammer. Or this is not legitimate. You're not the legitimate conscious crypto traders because you don't have the verification sign next to you. And just let them know that they're being watched, because too many people ignore them. And so they keep doing it. Like there's scam profiles set up of all of the big traders, and they're pretending to be there. And I've had people go to these scammy places, give them the Bitcoin and lose their Bitcoin, thinking it's their favorite YouTuber. So don't get scammed. We're going to do something on that. And until then, trade consciously. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.